The Amazing Spider-Man issue 52 finds the titular wall crawler finally face to face with Kindred, the person behind the deaths of Mendelstrom and Mysterio, and the one who let loose Sin Eater. Spider-Man knows that this meeting was bound to happen sooner or later, but now that it has, he can't even look the villain in the eyes. He demands to know what Kindred has done, spying the corpses the villain has gathered. Kindred says that he's been doing the same thing he's always been doing all along, getting Peter to face the truth, and he should consider this his intervention, pointing out that everyone is there, from George Stacy, Jean DeWolf, Marla Jameson, Flash Thompson, his world's Gwen Stacy, and the worst of them all, Ben Parker. The villain says that they all love him thanks to them all being family, as he finds Peter is angry, and rightly so, knowing it's natural for him to lash out at a confrontation like this. But Peter needs to remember that Kindred didn't kill these people, Spider-Man did. Peter flies into a rage, attacking the villain and calling him a monster, as Kindred fights back with his monster centipedes, throwing Spider-Man around the creepy room. Peter asks who the villain is, but Kindred says that that's the wrong question, since it doesn't matter who he was. What matters is what he has become, since now all of Spider-Man's ghosts live through him, and for all he knows, he could be one of the corpses sitting in the dining chairs. Peter forces himself to fight back, pulling the roof down on the villain before quickly attacking him from the shadows. Kindred knows that this is the part of the story where the Amazing Spider-Man somehow finds himself overcoming the impossible, as Peter punches a hole straight through the villain's chest. This does nothing to stop the villain from uppercutting Peter with his centipedes, telling him he only has himself to blame, since he's the only one causing his own suffering, and he might as well be fighting a mirror. The villain smashes Peter through a mirror, causing Peter to fall into a dark void before winding up outside in the city that is in chaos, thanks to Madam Web and the Spider family attacking innocent people. Kindred forces Peter to watch the sin-possessed family attack the people, saying that this is what he has done to them by bottling up all of their sins, since it has to go somewhere. Kindred shows Peter the monstrous Gwen Stacy holding the unconscious Miles over the Brooklyn Bridge, throwing him from the top. Peter pleads with the villain to stop, since he's the one he wants, wanting the villain to kill him and leave the family out of it. Kindred says that Peter has himself a deal, unleashing his power and freeing the Spider family. Peter watches as Miles awakens, swinging clear of the drop just in time. Peter is glad that the family is all okay, as Kindred grabs Peter, breaking his neck and killing Spider-Man, wanting them both to face the truth together. The Amazing Spider-Man issue 52 was the issue everyone has been waiting for, with Spider-Man finally coming face to face with Kindred and actually battling the villain. I love the many shocking reveals this issue had to play with, probably the most messed up one being that Kindred actually dug up Ben Parker's corpse. I enjoyed how Kindred seems to relish in the fact that Peter is being tortured by all of this, and the villain seems to enjoy his work, which makes sense given that Kindred may or may not be Harry Osborn, who no doubt feels like he's owed some type of vengeance against Spider-Man, so I can see why he would take some joy in doing this to Peter after all this time. The big twist ending, no pun intended, really caught me off guard, but obviously Spider-Man won't be dead. In fact, I'm willing to bet that since he was thrown into a mirror, we're actually in his mind or in some type of illusion. Again, Kindred did work with Mysterio for a little bit, so he might have picked up a few things along the way, and I wouldn't put it past him to do just this, just to fuck with Peter even more. I'm really looking forward to next week's main Last Remains chapter, as well as the tie-in issues that is up next, since I have no clue where the story is going to go from here, and it could literally go in any direction. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10.